chest line which runs along the base of my armhole. I then mark a line towards this end of the line, which is a quarter up from it, and a line towards that end of the line, which is a quarter down. I extend these ever so slightly. I then find a point 2 inches in from my front pitch, which intersects with that line at the top. And I draw a line 4 inches in from the point that I've just made, which intersects with the bottom line. I then come 1 1/8 inches up. I extend this line straight up along with my grain, and this line I bring out by 1/8 from my grain. I then intersect the 2 top points and the 2 bottom points. The reason why this line doesn't come straight up but comes slightly out is that, visually speaking, once that coat is lined up, if this line runs straight up, it looks like it's heading in a bit. So to counteract that optical illusion, we bring it out a bit. Cool. So that's your outbreast marked. We then mark for our cross-jet and flap. So your cross-jet is going to start either a quarter or a 1/2 inch in front of your wedge. And it's going to go along the length of that wedge. And it's going to be anywhere between 5 1/4 and 5 1/2 inches for a 38-inch coat. So I'm going to go 5 1/2 here. And it's going to grade in 1/8. So what I mean by grade in 1/8 is for every subsequent size, you're going to grow this length by 1/8 of an inch. You don't need to remember this. This is just so I'm giving you an idea as to how it works. So if I'm 5 1/2 inch on a 38, on a 40, I would be grows in 1/8. Yeah. So 42 and 5 3/4. The process of grading is really important. When we come to patterns, we're grading in the same ways. So this is just an extension of that. So I line my square up, come straight down, do the same on this end. Come straight down.
What's the maximum you would make a bracket? So somebody was
6 1/4.
6 1/4.
Come down 2 1/4 inches. There. And I kick out the bottom of my flap by 1/4 to 3/8. Again, this is just a style decision, but it has to be kicked out. And we discussed this last year, so hopefully you'll remember. So that's all marked up. Now I'm going to decide where I get what bits out of fit up that I have. So what do I need? Who can tell me what fit up I need for my cross-jet and flap?
You need enough for the flap that
Yep.
you've drawn out.
Flap, and then?
The jets.
Yep, and?
Pocket facing.
Great, perfect. And so for that, what would you guess I need? I'll need a bit from my app as well, and then the same thing, we just have a facing in there. So what I'm gonna do is grab this section from my outbreast welt. So using the right side of my cloth hood, I'm gonna lay it in, and I'm just gonna need a bit of cloth, which has a good inch all the way across the top there, and a good 1/2 inch either side, and about 1/2 inch at the bottom. So I'm gonna need that section there. So this is going to be my outbreast welt.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's still filming.
Is it filming?
I wasn't sure if
Okay.
it was still filming.
And what's going to sit beneath this, I'm going to use for my facing. Yep. So I can already cut that out. So I'm just marking everything up. putting my arrows in. I can cut that off and save that for later. Then, for my flap, I'm going to need a bit of cloth that has a good inch across the top there, and then about a ½ inch either side. I need to run along the grain of my coat, and then about a ½ inch at the bottom. So just about that. Yep. Sorry, I'm marking on the wrong side here, but it's symmetrical, so it's fine. So I cut that out from my flap. Right flap, and there. Then I find my jets. What grain do my jets go along? What grain is that?
So left.
So my jets go along my weft. Okay. Why would they go along my weft rather than my warp?
Because I know it's to do with the way that you want them, like where you want the strength to be.
Yep.
But I can't explain any further than that.
Which are the stronger fibres?
The warp.
Yes. So my jet's going along my warp. So my arrow's going that way. I shove it that way. Yep. So I need about an inch either side to there. And I want it about yay wide. All right. So this section here is going to be used for my jets. And then that, whatever left over, can be used for my facing. Yeah? Don't go and start chopping into bits. You can see how little's left over from that. Little like snippets there. The rest of that will essentially be almost entirely used. Yeah? So establish what you need first and then go forwards. So we're going to make the atlas weld first. So I'm going to pop that with there. So now that I marked my atlas welt, I'm quickly going to press this and I'm going to start making my welt first. Much like I make my flap first, I make my welt first. So quickly go press this. So, to mark my welts on, I get a sharp bit of chalk and I make
I just want to see how the location of bespoke. How do you determine the location of the bespoke? I just put it.
what the rules.
Yeah, because I don't understand what.
Oh right, okay. Your chest line there, quarter up, quarter down. With 2 inches in from there, inch and eight, 4. So I grab my outburst welt, bit of cloth. I make sure that my arrows are going along the direction of my grain. I line. I'm going to get rid of that because that's confusing. I line my grain up with the grain of the coat. So this is an important step. This is all, you can stop videoing.